Hello, it's Icy. I'm back with more Torment, the Tides of Numenera. We are in the pub. The inn? The drinking place. We are on the quest to find out more about the person who can't remember who she is, I think. Clarion, this young woman wears finely polished armor and paces back and forth restlessly on the walkway. Her long hair is lustrous and healthy, and her whole form exudes of wholesome vitality. When she sees you, she raises her voice in greeting. "Welcome, friend, to the Fifth Eye." She strides closer to speak more softly. "Come at an exciting time. I've been trying to convince some veteran warriors of their eminent suitability to join in the endless battle. So far they've rebuffed me, but perhaps you can succeed where I have failed. Tell me more of yourself." "I am Clarion. I seek strong warriors, brave souls to fight in the endless battle, to hold back the advance of the enemy." "The endless battle, as much as it sounds," she says, "stemmed from a rift between the changing god and one of his offspring, and has endured for hundreds of years, raging over the same battlefields, using the deadliest technology of the ancients, the landscape scarred and pitted beyond all recognition. The walls between the dimensions are thin there. Every day horrors cross into our worlds." She stands, arms akimbo. "Worse, in recent years the struggle has expanded. Nearby settlements, founded to provide material support for the combatants, or existing there long before the two sides came to rage on their borders, have been engulfed by the spreading chaos. It is not too late to change the course of the battle, if only warriors of proven mettle would join the fight. That is why I'm here. That is why I beg for your help." What side are you recruiting for?" "The changing gods. He has always been the patron of Sage's Cliffs. Perhaps we would not exist if not for his lives and his cast-offs. Certainly we would not be as we are. But that is not the only reason. The changing gods' forces have allied with the towns and villages of the Veluxian Waste. We seek to prevent the endless battle expanding beyond its borders, growing in size once again. The enemies attempted to sweep across the plain before. They tricked the changing gods' allies centuries ago and destroyed an army of sand knights and took half the settlements in the waste. We won't let them do it again." Who is the enemy?" "The armies of the first cast-off. They have never been friends to the people of Sage's Cliffs." She frowned. "First cast-off is long dead, but still her forces hold a grudge against her sire and his patron city." "Tell me of the recruits." They have fought in countless battles and emerged victorious. They have made decisive forays that turned entire wars. They are clever and thoughtful, though I know only their reputation. The third invasion, for instance, saw them reach into a new dimension, and I won't bore you with the details, but they were integral in an offensive that would have changed the course of the conflict. Would have? Would have? Why are you trying to recruit these veterans? Perhaps the tide of war?" She shakes her head. "Conflict shapes us, sharpens us, makes us stronger than we ever thought we could be. If you hide from it, you'll never know what you might have become. Or worse, you'll be easy prey for those stronger or crueler than you." She clutches her shoulders. "These veterans have grown tired and complacent. I want to help them recapture what they've lost. No, I want to make them even greater than they were." I think we'll say farewell at this point. If they've served their time and they want no part of it, why should I recruit them for the endless war, of which I have no opinion of for either side? Is that a floating cup? Yes, it's a floating cup. Who are we talking to here? Feriok. The bartender is a tall, powerfully built man with nut-brown skin and a bushy beard. He radiates strength and confidence. He moves with speed when necessary and remains almost motionless for the rest of the time, like a predator waiting for sleep. Yet even when he prepares a drink, he doesn't touch a thing. His brow furrows slightly, and the bottles and glasses lift by themselves. When he sees you, he smiles broadly. "Welcome to the Fifth Eye, friend. I'm Feriok. Can you tell me about this place?" "Fifth Eye is a bar for psychics. At least it is now. In prior worlds, as near as we can tell, it was an old pumping station. All these pipes lead down to some reservoirs deep beneath the city, and they pump whatever's in the reservoirs up here. Anyway, some damn fools started drinking from the pipes, and other fools started in too. Some of them died, but some of them got drunk as hell, and after a few whiles, vague enough for you, They got pretty good at figuring out which was safe and which weren't, and that's when they figured out they'd start making money off this place. Reason psychics flock here because the building dampens out the psychic noise of the city. The drinks help too. Leto says, Ferric means to say that he's only involved in the delivery of these drinks rather than creation. Given his skills, that's only right and proper. Ugh, I've been maligned by this desert-dwelling interloper. You said this bar is for psychics. What's that mean? Means that this is the place where the psychics can unwind. Get away from the city. Get away from the noise. You know what it is to be psychic? Let me paint a picture. Imagine every time you're going to sleep, someone comes and starts screaming in your ear, or objects in the room start whispering about how they want to burn, or they might tell you their secret names and how to make them float and dance at your command. Or maybe every person you meet is like a house with all its doors and windows thrown open, and you can't help but look in and plunge into their secrets, and underneath it all you hear their silent judgments, the truth they hide even from themselves. He pauses to concentrate on a floating cloth as it wipes a mug clean, and the mug places itself on a rack. Folks think that it's a blessing to have these powers, and sometimes it really is, especially when you can join in your friends to make something great, but it can be hard, hateful, and you can never tell when you're going over the edge of insanity. I'd like a drink. Okay, you're in for a treat, friend, a real treat. Assuming you call the possibility of a toxic reaction a treat, of course. He points at various pipes on the wall. We've positively identified some of these as safe. Smaller subset here is inebriants or hallucinogens. We've got a few that are, well, chancy. As in, sometimes they kill people. Cost for a safe drink is Thoretian experimental ones. 10. Why shouldn't you pay me to try the chancy ones? We've got this strange black ichor, thick enough that it's almost chewy. There's a pink sludge that's a known entheogen? What's an entheogen? But its strength sometimes varies and kills people. We have one that smells like elderberry fruit, and we sometimes use that one to get rid of stubborn grease stains. It's acidic, but, well, maybe it's an acquired taste. I'll take the grease cutter! Just like Coke Zero! Really? On your own head, I suppose. It concentrates and a bottle floats over to the tap. The fluid spills into the bottle and you hear it hiss. The bottle floats to you and you can see the liquid inside is thin and oily. It smells like talc. The infectious runoff from a pairing between flesh and machine. It smells like trash-eating lac gorged itself on rotting fruit and lost control of its bowels. You hold your nose and drink it down. It doesn't sound like Coke Zero. Oh, I'm dead. Oh! God. Say what you will about the smell. The drink packs a powerful wallop. You lose control of your motor functions and stagger briefly. Colors flash across your eyes, and for a moment everything becomes unbearably funny. Just before a wave of utter sadness wipes all thoughts of laughter from your mind. On its heels comes the rage, lust, all the emotions of the human condition condensed into a perfect, jewel-like moment. Then it shatters. You are lying on the floor in a pool of your own vomit. The last child stuff gains dazed until the next time you sleep. Oh, that's all for now. Thanks. Oh, that dazed noise is going to get old quickly. Leto. Though this woman's face is young, she's been beaten hard by the sun. She wears a tight-fitting skin suit under the loose desert robe. Leto is a desert name, but usually for men. Or one. Her eyes are deep and unsettling black, with no whites to be seen. Occasional streaks of light race through them, flashing in the shadows of her hood, like stars plummeting from the sky. I am Leto, she says. I saw your coming, and now you are here. To the northeast, in the middle of the Lost Sea, there is a small town called Jerboa, dwarfed by the magnificence of the oasis of Mirajolis. Jerboa is a poor town dependent on the charity of its neighbour. I was born in the slums. The Jibra residents of the city would sometimes tour our ghetto. One of them saw my eyes and declared me touched by their god, Nukul. They told me the deep secrets of their church and showed me how to comprehend the tapestry in my mind. But one day I saw a light flare in the sage's cliffs. Though this city and mine suffer hostilities, I knew I must brave those dangers. I saw the darkening storm. I see the futures. I will not be able to return home, but I arrived in time to aid Dharma in his struggle against the adversaries. For a time I was able to read the strands to help our team prepare against the adversaries' attack, but they learned to cloak themselves against me, and all I could see of their intent was generalized darkness. I am little used against the adversaries now, but I remain to help against other foes. I know the stories of my comrades in arms, their past and future. I have a deep bond with Ziobi, a friendship with Therabus. My respect for Daharman knows no limits, and I have fond recollections of Farok's ready wit. Oh. These warriors who need to be convinced. But I think not. I wish I could unravel the skein of perception and live in the present, as do many others. But it is not to be, and so I scramble across a web of time to know the threads of my friends. Tell me about your friend, Dahama. He is the lodestone, the hoverglass, the light that lifts the rope and binds. His strength is our strength, and through him we become stronger. He is the caller, the bringer, the tactician, the strategist. He brings us to this place, and in the future he is gone. She does not see you as she speaks. The unseen adversary claims him, unless... No. The probabilities are too low. She shakes her head and brings herself back to the present. Is he still here? She slashes a glance towards the man in a blue shirt and breathes a sigh of relief. About Fariok. A seer of pain and love, a great light. His powers, speech and attraction. An empath, a weaver of hope and reconciliation. The story I love most is this. An angry citizen comes, threatening violence, and Fariok eats its pain and makes a new man in his place. In those old strands, Fariok is my friend. And you mine, Leto. About Ziobi. She gives herself too little credit. During the Cobalt breach, she erects a shield around her company and fires precise bolts of telekinetic rage against the attackers. She destroys their inhuman captain, hurling him from the walls into dark space, and then dismembers the attackers who have come for me. In that day, she is my hero. She is the only one of us who can touch the physical world so completely. And when Dharma dies, she stands to unite us. No, wait. This isn't real. Not yet. She slaps herself lightly and mutters, walk in this world, Leto, this world alone. But Erebos. He follows the trails of the words of Qua. He finds the dead village. In his mind he seals the words, and they chew him to pieces until his brain has lost their knowledge altogether. She looks across the bar at an old man. No, that is still a past possibility. That is not this reality. His mind is still intact. His stories still resonate. Is this the world in which he buries the last words of Farah? But he is a man who helps plan our battlefields. He shapes our expectations. It is he who brings the first adversary low. It shows him a story, and he tells it a better one. It bows to his vision, for it knows his strength, and he traps it. He is a hero to this reality, although he knows it not. Tell me about the adversaries. I waste water speaking of them. I do not know what they are, but I know what they represent. They are the death of possibility, an existential threat to humanity. They sweep minds into themselves, consume individuality, and worship power, and they have learned to counter mine. I am helpless against them. How did you know I'd be here? Skeins of lives weaved together in a tapestry. Your thread glows. It emerges from the sky, and a great darkness follows in your wake. I have seen you. Where you go is beyond my powers. Tell me about those I travel with. Tell me about Kalistegi. You are in many realities, Singularity Seeker. In some you destroy yourself. Others see you triumphant over ashes, or you subsume yourself into yourself. Glittering possibilities. Probability. Can you tell me the steps that lead to my destruction? What I do to succeed? Your future shifts even as you ask the question. The sisters to your right seek advantage. The ones to your left compromise. You are on the edge of the blade. Your choices are yours, and your future echoes through reality. All you need to do is step. Trafficking in supposition and simile. What makes you any better than a head witch prognosticating in larking trails? What makes me different? She smiles wide. I actually see the future, Callistege. Your path is fraught, and you are your own worst enemy. Rin, child, the future is uncertain. The one you travel with is... The phone is ringing. One sec. Rin, the child is future. Child, the future is uncertain. The one you travel with is a decisive force in your life, though it remains to be seen whether this force is for good or ill. I cannot advise you, for your future is in flux. Let's make the choice yourself. About Tirba. For the Gallo-glass, I have only one prediction. Change your ways, or live with your regrets forever. Or forever, that's a long time, my dear, and I'm told nothing lasts that long. She turns her head towards him and looks away shivering. I have spoken. Dude. Okay. But I wanted to talk to her about the person. Okay, here we go. Almas the Soul Keeper. Alright, let's talk to this person. So, can we not talk to them now? No, we are talking to them now. Can I look at my minus 15% willpower? Minus 15% on attack. Okay, that's fine. I don't think that matters as long as we're talking. For a moment, you're not entirely sure if you look upon a construct or a human. The plastic sheen of this pale man's skin suggests artificiality, but if he's a construct, he's so cunningly constructed, so close to the human baseline, that the illusion is perfect. Except his head is a trifle too large, his eyes black buttons. Then you realize the truth. He is a visitant, his home many miles distant. Almas, my name. Tell me of yourself. He lifts his great head slowly and fixes it with a kind of duller blade. I am Almas. I am Keeper of Souls, last of my kind, only survivor of a civilization that spanned time and space. Now they are gone, their stars black, reality wind carry me. He turns his head back towards his drink. What happened to your people? The highest caste of power. Controlled we minds, ideas all for souls of empire. A great web we wove, shining with power. But other nodes, they winked away, till only I remain. An image my people I carry, but no place to make it real. Our domain lost, I, alone, paralyzed. Indecision and fear. How did you get here? Not my time, not my place, yet when the connection to home broke, a beacon shone here. 5 minds drew me, a light in darkness. They were not a light to understand, they were safety, surety, while a new home I find. In this place I have clear thought untarnished. How did your civilization die? A doubt arose, it took seed, took flight. These thoughts connected to our network, these questions spread like a disease, trust, mistrust, nodes decohered, without nodes, without control of dreams, civilization falls, and then they are gone. And I alone remain? The doubt I do not know, I do not recall, yet his stance suggests otherwise. Tell me of the doubt. I do, yes, it was my doubt, mine, my question. I asked only, what if our way is not best? What if our people have desires of their own, wants that we do not give? Single hand across his eyes, slowly slides it away. The others began to see and question. Questions gave way to self-doubt, self-doubt gave way to self-hate. I wanted only to know what is best. How do we become better? Not to tear us down, but I shone a bright light on behavior, on truth. But our center could not hold under truth. His wet, terrified eyes on you. Was I to blame? Is civilization's end fixed on me? In dreams I see their faces, but not their minds. Tell me truly. Oh, Is the fault mine? Tidal surge requires trained tidal affinity skill. I want that. Are you sure they're gone? What if they saw your doubt and just cut you away, cast you aside? Oh no, that was a bad thing. Horror dawns on his face. Is this why I cannot feel them? Why I retain only an image? He closes his eyes and concentrates hard. Around the bar, other patrons wince and cover their ears with their hand. Feel the brushing of a terrifying howl of anguish. Oh dear. Oh dear. He whispers, I am alone. I feel an echo, but no true response. As if they... Pulls his hands apart, and you have a sense of a vast network of power contained between. He raises his hands before his face, and then he crumples his fist. The energy vanishes. I have severed the last connection, the last hope. If they exist still, they must exist without me. Let me be forgotten. No more. He drops his head. Oh, I don't know if that was the good thing to do or not. Oh, there is a ghostly woman to talk to. Let us talk to her. You draw closer, but the wispy form of the woman in the booth does not clarify. You can hardly discern the details of her face, and you hear a chorus of whispering female voices that swarm around her. Chance. Listen to the whispers. They are on the verge of comprehensibility, but they brush against your mind just below the level of conscious thought. You have a sense of vague longing, loss that touches you. Peer more closely at her, and she takes no notice of all. Her features are those of a teenage woman, childhood behind. You have seen her face before somewhere in the city. The ghostly woman could be her. Are you? She's been ignoring you, but without a transitional state, her face is suddenly and furiously focused on yours. Another flicker, and her hands wrap around your throat. Ghost or not, her fingers are very real, and they are choking the life from you. Her fingers... her fingers dig deeper. She's not just compressing your trachea, she's tearing your throat out. You choke and cough, drowning in your blood, but she is latched inside you? The last thing you see is her rage-twisted face! Oh! What? Oh, I mean... I died! But apparently I'm not dazed anymore, or confused. Whoa. Oh, what is this? Wait. Oh, it's the ghostly woman. I couldn't talk to her. Oh, what? Oh, what? It's the same ghostly woman who strangled you, but the fury is gone from her face, replaced with confusion. She looks around. Her gaze falls on the large machine and lingers there. Finally, she notices you. She steps forward, a hint of trepidation in her eyes. Where are we? No, I have no idea. But apparently, I see her in the labyrinth, a construct of mine, of your mind. Yet it looks around her again, frowning. But even though it feels familiar, I recognize almost nothing in it. Perhaps it is your mind, after all. I do remember one thing. She puts the hands to the side of her head. I was angry. Enraged. There are... I don't know how, but there are women like me born throughout the city, repeatedly, against their will. They are compelled into existence. She bites her lip uncertainly and then nods. I'm just a memory, but something is forcing my memory into the minds of the women throughout the city. Ooh. She takes your hand in hers. It's wrong. I don't know how I know, but when she turns back to you, there's more certainty. Find them. The women who are becoming like me, or already like me. Maybe I'll remember more. Maybe we can do something. Look! She follow her finger to a glowing form before there was no. It's a memra. You found one of them already. The women created by the Abba. What? I mean, okay. Can I talk to you anymore first? How do I find the women? They're in the real world in stages. You may have met them. One of them is a leader. She sacrificed much in her life, so gained life. Sorry, I can't. One of them offers joy and sorrow for coin. Her family is not her own. Borrowed. One of them is dead, and yet a piece of her lives. Okay. Alright. Interesting. Loss of self is one of them. I see! Oh no, I don't want to leave yet! What the? What? What? Oh, the siege, she says, watching the thing. I remember the siege when the Tabat came to destroy the Sage's cliffs. Remember? It happened a long time ago. Did it? I'm only a broken memory. What do I know of time? I was there. I remember the screams of terror. The Tabat came, many of them mounted on their dragoliths. Each of them was a stranger, more terrifying weapon than one before. Sages should have fallen like Shuena and Ikwa, 100 villages before us, but it didn't. Fought them off. What does that have to do with the other women? I don't know. There is more to this story. You'll help to find it. Do I attack or talk? Apparently I can talk. Hi. 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 Nope. Oh, examine. Examine! Oh, God. Am I stuck? What's going on? How about there? It's just rubble. Okay. Examine. Blood-curdling moan. There's no way into the structure. Nope. Two. Oh! It's just a memory. Let's see again. The air is warm next to the machine. Dizzy when you go in. Oh. Well, how do I get out? Uh-huh. Alright, so we got a portal out. Right, interesting. So, lost memory being taken over by a cast-off, basically? The cast-off who was fighting the siege? It's sort of like the 3 cast-offs that found the Sage's cliffs. Oh, here we are. Hello. Am I glad you came out of that door? The thing just showed up. I didn't know what to expect. Do you know who the ghostly woman is in that feather? I don't know anything about that one. That way is not. It's not really surprising. It's your mind, not mine. Most likely she's just a lacuna, a construct of your buried memory. Perhaps I'm one of the women. Interesting. Either that or she's a reflection of someone you met in real life. Whoever she is, it probably isn't. And you're the only one with that distinction. And me, by extension. Okay. And then changed. Just that door. Okay. So just can leave, I believe. Well, that turned out interestingly. Hi guys, I'm back. Thought you would be dead. How are you holding? I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along and saved. I don't think I'd be alive anymore. I think about that a lot. I don't know how to thank you for it. It's something too big to just thank someone. Okay, true. That is a thing. Alright, well, that was freaking interesting. Yusk. Talk to Yusk. The most distinguished feature of this tall, vaguely awkward man is the yellow shirt he wears. He seems desperate to fade back into the scenery. When he sees you notice him, he gives you a faint, uncomfortable grin. Something about him seems off, as if he were a flicker in the air. While strangely two-dimensional, he does not seem to emit a sense of presence at all. Can't I sense you? Skit. As the yellow shirt fades away, and then the skin and muscle and bone remains as a vaguely humanoid shimmer. I misk, Aaron, a transdimensional projection from the distant past. This Abakaios form is not the truth. I'm trapped in this body, but I am not this. A ghost, transdimensional, it feeds. Only I am watch and where are you from? Distant past epoch, turning through time to see future. Overshot. Maybe next visit? Can you make this melody? Only words. Nothing touches. Only ideas. No physical energy convey? When casting through time, saw light, drawn to civilized thought. Admiring psychic. Okay, interesting. So perhaps he will talk to him later? Your eyes cannot focus on this person, whether male or female. Say, but it hums with a force that both attracts and repels. You feel a great sense of enjoyment as its regard settles upon you. Speak with. Oh, it says you have tasted the truth in the form of machine lubricant. You have contemplated the totality of human existence. Speak quickly and true. Did I pick the right drink? The world slows around. I am, you might call me an ultra-terrestrial, though I am far more. I am from beyond space, beyond time. Above your comprehension, your mind has chosen this form, and I am content to exist in its structure. But know that I exist also outside of your subjective experience. Some might describe me as superpositional extraction of fundamental universal laws made tangible. It gestures languidly and you understand perfectly. I am a word made flesh, a letter at least, a concept covered in false skin, infinitely malleable, essentially unknowable. What does it mean to be a word? Oh! Oh! I was and will be. I see to the past into the illimitable future when the cosmos erupted into a sea of ice or when the mechanism winds to a sad and end will. At the moment the great wings of death include creation, I am the last vestige of dust frozen forever perfect. Do you? I am here to see the final attempt at entry by the adversaries. I am here to offer a vision to Leto. Did you say this was the final attempt at entry by the adversaries? The adversaries thought to peel through realities to devour this world as they have others. They have never lost. This world is their first taste of defeat. Within themselves, the eaten cores of their victims begin to stir. The adversaries will cease to exist in any meaningful form within a millennium if they are stopped here. This is an inflection point. If the warriors here succeed, the adversaries do not rise again for an aeon. So it is written. So I do need to convince. Where did you come from? You would not understand. Let me show you. Your eyes widen, expanding, fill the room. Your vision, your consciousness, and you tumble into a starry immensity. Swirls of nebulae twist and apart, stellar clusters, the raw, hungry vortices. You tumble helplessly into a myriad of them all at once, torn apart, deformed in an instant, a being of pure light and will. Ah. Whoa! What? Oh! No! My maximum intellect pool is now 6! You find yourself standing in the fifth eye again, your nose running and tears streaking your cheek. You wipe them away numbly, and you realize your hand is streaked with blood. Whoa. Permanently gained money. Too much information, much knowledge. Had I shown you more, the energies that bind you together would have failed. Said you'd come to offer a vision to later. She is prescient. She is the mother of empires. The adversary's presence has polluted her vision, and she has strayed from the page. I am here to reunite her with the truth. I do not intervene, but this story was true, and so it is true, and so this is not an invention. The vision will come when you have left the city. Oh, she will see it clearly. I believe the city will have no further part in the story. A moment. None here will know of our conversation, none will know its nature, none see me, nor will they recognize any sign of it. Even in this remarkable place they cannot know. But I give you a gift to cast off, and a god cast off, and a god and your story is a true story. It is welcome to the world. It was born from desire and will end in. But I do not tell your fortune. Whoa! It envelops you, and when you open your eyes, oh, it's gone. Permanently gained 4 health. Continue. 3. Wow. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Booth was a metal tank that once held some sort of liquid. Okay, who do we have here? Therebos, and Dharma, and Ziobi. And Sir Arathor. Look, to be honest, let's go speak with Sir Arathor first. Arthur. Ooh. This man has leathered, dark brown skin and hair as white as the full moon. He peers at you from beneath long strips of eyebrows, sucking on a long pipe that's made of either segmented wood or the leg of an enormous insect. His clothing is blue, formal, like a priest or a professor of some kind. All over him, on his belt, in every pocket, on both shoulders, even hovering in the air around his head, are glowing, chittering devices. Let me guess. He sucks from his pipe, and a ball of green steam floats away from his mouth. You're a traveller, that much is clear, an explorer, yet you have the look of a farmer visiting a teeming metropolis for the first time. Taps various relics on the person. Never seen the like, have you? Fortunately for you, I adore educating folks on the subject of the Numenera. I've also travelled extensively and seen much of the world. Go ahead, ask me what you would like to know. Mansplain, baby. Who are you? Goodness forgive me, he stretches out his hand. Sir Arathor Torian, traveller, explorer, and lifelong student of the Numenera. I've seen everything between here and the Steadfast, and I've studied Numenera of all kinds for decades. There's no man with more knowledgeable about the Ninth World than sits before you, I assure you. Why are you here? Knowledge, of course. I have travelled all over the Steadfast and beyond, but I had to know what was beyond the beyond. Who knows how much time I have left on this world? I wanted to see it for myself. Libations! He lifted his glasses enthusiastically. I am trying to determine the nature of these fantastic liquids. Also, the people here are quite informative. No place to learn about a city better than its taverns. What are the Numenera? His eyes light up, as do a number of devices on his person that you cannot lie. The Numenera are practically everything around you. We live amongst the detritus of uncountable civilizations, many of which were more powerful than you and I can imagine. Everything they left us, the Numenera, weapons, power sources, medicines, gels, plants, animals, why, even buried drit in the ground, and the shins in your pockets are examples of Numenera. It's such a broad term that the Order of Truth has categorized the Numenera with terms like oddities, ciphers, and artifacts. Of course, any true student of the Numenera considers these categories too broad still. I have my own distinctions, but that's neither here nor there. In any case, it is the Numenera that power the wonders of the world, from explorers' esoteries to the dartosphere that drinks in the very tavern. Ciphers and artifacts. Well, for the most part, he says, those terms refer to how useful a device is. It makes sense. As wonderful and powerful as the relics are of the past, nobody of this world gives a damn unless it can fix their problems. They don't care how it works or where it came from, eh? But if they can use it to feed themselves, fight off an entheric grask, or at least get them a few extra shins, now they're interested. He shows you the back of his fist. Sticks out a thumb. Oddities are the least useful. They do something alright. Eat your drink, float in the air, make everything you sound, say like music, whatever. But it's rarely something that anyone can get any utility out of. Oddities are fascinating, but pragmatically they're only worth a few shins. Sticks his pointer finger in the air next to his thumb. Ciphers now. Those might do anything. Heal your body, shoot a blast of flame, teleport you somewhere safe, and so on, but they're volatile. Whatever they do, they'll do it just once, and if you don't know what you're doing, putting too many together can give you what's called cipher sickness. Artifacts won't do that. That term belongs to devices that last. Maybe not forever, but more than a one-shot. Tell me about ciphers. Terrible, just terrible. He sets his pipe down. Ciphers are volatile devices, as I told you. If you know what you're doing, you can carry separate insular quarantine, thus carrying more ciphers than your average explorer will without ill effects. Something on his person starts chirping. Taps his pocket to stop it, but otherwise pays it no mind. But if you carry more than you can handle, those ciphers react in unpredictable ways, draining your energy, wearing you down, or worse. This one time, I saw a cluster of ciphers bond next to each other and gain what I can only describe as sentience. Ripped my assistant to pieces before tearing off into the cold desert. Haven't seen it since. It was completely unexpected. I felt bad about that assistant, but, well, you know, signs and all that. Fortunately, most effects of cipher sickness are temporary, easily cured by simply getting rid of ciphers. How do you categorize the Numenera? Fascinating question! He sits down his drink and leans forward. I'll give you a brief version, because you obviously have places to be. Put simply, I'm less interested in how useful a device is. Its function. Takes a quick puff from its pipe. Sets that down as well. Now, the technology of the prior worlds is far too incomprehensible and varied for us to truly understand which civilizations created what, but we can define some basic categories. Many devices deal with fundamental forces, gravity, magnetism, sound, light, even time itself. Automatons and created intelligence fall under artificial life. Biotechnology covers a wide variety of Numenera. Many plants, animals that we consider natural were in fact created by prior worlds for some arcane purpose. The bloom may fall into this category. Someday I'll hire a team to find out if I can find anyone reckless enough. There are chemical devices as well as those dealing in various forms of matter. There's a doorbell. I'll be back. So many interruptions today. Chemical devices, as well as those we are dealing in various forms of matter, metals, liquids, crystals, and conversions between the three. Don't we do gas as well? His eyes light up. The most interesting are the most esoteric. Nanotechnology, which covers much of what common folk consider magic, transdimensional tech, and technology related to the dartosphere itself. He leans back, reinserting his pipe. But these are just the classifications. I prefer the Numenera defy definition. Tell me about the dartosphere. It's difficult to say exactly. At a most basic level, the dartosphere is information stored within the air itself. But it's much, much more than that. Several of the prior worlds created something similar spheres of knowledge around or throughout our world. Our term dartosphere encompasses all of them, the connections between them, and the effects thereof. For example, People talk about glimmers, visions from another place or time. These are actually some portion of the data sphere accessing human minds. Some ciphers, even some nanos, can access arcane technology from the data sphere. Why, even so-called telepathy is sometimes two people communicating through the data sphere without realizing it. The data sphere as a subject of research is too large for several lifetimes. Alas, I have only been able to spend some of my time delving into devices that seem to use it, but not the data sphere itself, or rather, the various and incompatible networks that comprise the data sphere. Perhaps someday. Callistigi had been leaning in, listening intently, and leans back with disappointment etched across her features. It is a worthy field of subject. I had hoped we might share our knowledge. Perhaps when you have acquired several lifetimes, as I have, we will speak further on the subject. Esoteric is the common name for any of various powers or abilities that cannot be explained by our understanding of science. Nanos are capable of esoteries more than most, but other people and even creatures sometimes exhibit powers we will call esoteries as well. What are shins? Ha, you are new, aren't you? Shins are currency. The Aeon priests believe that some very ancient prior worlds use specific metals or crystals as currency per their rarity, but of course no metal is truly rare anymore. Half the nanos I've met can transmute metal into crystal. Why, I once transmuted flesh into gold, though not entirely on purpose. Anyway, rarity is as useless as a means of value, so the value of shins is necessarily a social construct. Shins can be any coin, like object, or jagged bit of interesting material, though I think you'll find that there is a remarkable agreement as to what does and does not constitute a true shin. Many realms in the steadfast actually mint their own money, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a travelling merchant who didn't accept anything you had on hand at the time. I disagree with most of that. The societal... This is inflationary! Anyway, sorry. Let's not get into the economics right now. How is Drit part of the Numenera? Run your hand through the soil, girl, and you'll find it's hardly soil at all. It is filled with the microscopic remains of ancient unknown technologies and structures, commonly known as Drit, not dirt, Drit. Why, in some places the Drit is even alive. He takes a sip from his mug. I don't recommend sleeping on the ground in those places, by the way. Terribly unnerving for the survivors. Okay, tell me about the Order of Truth. Is what you might call an organized religion, except it's not a religion. All the members of the order call themselves priests, and their founder is the Amber Pope, but they don't worship anything per se, except by their own intellects. I understand that this town has its own branch. They could answer your questions better than I. About something else. How do you know so much about the Numenera? Cipher gathering was always the main source of income for my family. Alas, no more. But I have extended that perchance into penchant into pure research. It's not arrogant to say that mine is one of the greatest laboratories in the steadfast. Why, an entire university has sprung up around my home. I specialize in research and experimentation. Prospective assistants apply almost daily, which is good considering how quickly we churn through them. More about the world. I should not have spoken to this person first. Of course, and ask me anything you like. I've travelled all over the Ninth World, but through the Steadfast and beyond. I even know a little about this part of the world, the so-called beyond the beyond. I've met explorers of all kinds and listened to countless stories. So, what is it you would like to know? The Steadfast. Much, my friend. Much too much, in fact. The Steadfast is a collection of kingdoms and principalities far to the west of here, all the way to the end of the continent. Blows smoke through his mouth. It forms into a purple ball and drops to and then through the floor. It is where the Order of Truth holds sway more than anywhere else. There were several different kingdoms, along with scattered villages and aldeas, but they all swear fealty to the Amber Pope and his Aeon. secrets. The Order requires nobles of the Steadfast to fight against the Gaians, supposedly a cult to the north. I've never been there myself, so I don't know the truth, but it sounds like a waste of lives and resources, if you ask me. That's why I keep my laboratory in the southern reaches, as far from conflict as possible. Granted. The Order did ask me to leave after several incidents, but I was planning on moving anyway. Tell me about the Beyond. A wilderness between Steadfast and here, highly dangerous. His words seem meant to frighten, but he has an excited glimmer in his eyes. Some of the most interesting claves and villages can be found there. I found one village where people hovered a meter off the ground from birth to death. The villagers of another world would tell you the exact method of your future death. I can't say how accurate they were, though several of my assistants did tender their resignation. Further out is the realm of the most deadly creatures, landscapes and weather. Oh yes, he says, seeing your expression. Land and the weather itself will rip you apart in several locations in the Beyond. You've heard of the Iron Wind. It is but one of the cruel rulers of that land, though perhaps the most infamous. A cloud of invisible machines altering the physical structure of anything that anyone it touches. He grins widely as he brings his cup to his lips. Truly terrible. What about beyond the Beyond? Ah, you're in it, friend! They call it the Sage's Protectorate, or at least this portion of it. The Sage's Cliffs and the bloom nearby. I've heard of places like Harif and Mirajolis far to the east. I'm most interested to explore the Valley of the Dead Heroes. I have heard so much about it. A place to inter the dead? Bound to be some very interesting relics in a place like that. In truth, I am only a recent arrival to this place myself. You would do better speaking with locals. Wow! Okay, tell me about the different kinds of explorers. Brave or intrepid souls, my friend. Explorers come in all shapes and packages, but I think you will find most people prefer to label the bravest explorers Glaives, Nanos, or Jacks. Glaives are the elite warriors of the world, Nanos those who study the Numenera, using it to perform powerful esoteries. Jack is something of a catch-all term. They're mostly pragmatic folk who know a little fighting, a little Numenera, jacks of all trades, as it were, but explorers of any stripe are useful to have around, especially if you're expecting trouble. The Ninth World? An interesting question. Takes a preparatory swing from his cup. One would think it is because 8 worlds have come before us, but even a cursory study of the Numenera reveals far too much breadth and variation for there to be a mere 8 prior worlds. One might then ask what qualifies as a world. We could say the first through 8 worlds are defined as the most powerful or influential civilizations of their era, but even that fails under the most basic reasoning. The previous 8 worlds we refer to were the greatest of the ancients. Then what qualifies this world, wherein we cannot even understand the most basic theories governing a time order, to be the 9th? The truth is, I'm afraid, we call this the 9th world simply because it is what we have decided to call it. No more and no less. That's it! Oh my god! That was a long conversation. I mean, okay. Let's talk to these guys. May as well. Dahama. The wispy mustache on this pudgy middle-aged man would be almost comical if it weren't for his deep and despairing eyes. They're the eyes of a man who has passed through the gates of an alien hells and returned, though not necessarily whole. His fingers tightly wrapped around some fine glassware, strong and slim, a musician's fingers or a strangler's. Before you open your mouth to speak, he says, "What place is that, in your head?" "It's the labyrinth." "A labyrinth?" He raises his eyebrows and looks back in his seat. "The novel construction." Starts ticking off items on his fingers. "I've seen people construct psychic fortresses, cathedrals, graveyards, hellscapes, vortices from which no life escapes. All dramatic places, all powerful and forbidding, but a labyrinth. Well, that's a whole different construction. That speaks to cunning and guile. Do other people picking other options get other things? Do you mind if I take a quick look? It seems like a strange thing to carry around and not know anything about. His voice is polished and clean, friendly but intent. Okay. My thanks. Though it's not often the wisest choice to let strangers into your mind. I'll not do you any harm. Might even help. He smiles to take the sting out. Ready? He breathes in and you suddenly feel you're a moat tucked inside a giant prism, with eyes peering in at you from all around. You are held tightly in an enormous fist. You are a flimsy piece of glass held up to the light. Yet somehow it is not utterly terrifying. These words come at you from a distance. Ah, a shared space, such depths and twists. It builds itself around your experiences, around those who share it with you. Shared spaces are occasionally dangerous, so I sharpened part of your mind. His voice draws closer and eases. I didn't probe deeply, but this would be an excellent battleground. If you lured a foe to you, you could trap it within your mind. You could destroy it. Oh, introductions. Yes. More intelligence pool? Awesome! Okay. He sets the glass down and shakes your hand. I'm Dharma of the Bloom. The bridge of his nose, his eyes tightly shut, and you feel a gentle and powerful presence surrounding your consciousness. I have a request for you. It might seem strange, but you have an interesting topography to your mind. You might be able to help us. The Fifth Eye is home to psychic veterans. We fought an incursion of nightmares, I suppose. Nightmares slithering into the city's shared dream space, eating minds and leaving us behind. We call them the adversaries. We burn them out, cauterize the wounds through which they infected our reality. But I can't shake the nagging feeling that one of them survived and waits to strike. I trust my intuition, and now it's telling me to ask for your help. Yes, I will help you. You gave me one more intelligence. And the other O also did. And O wanted to see what happens. He breathes a sigh of relief. My thanks. I feel the adversary. I know it's here. I know it's close. It's watching us, but it's hiding its presence, and I fear it will strike when our guard is down. It may well be in the Fifth Eye even now. I mean, the alien guy. Sadly, our Fifth Eye is blind. He jerks the thumb at the bartender. It may be that our foe has blinded us. It might not have shielded itself from you. Look for it and tell me if you find something unusual. I have a lead, but let's do the rest of the talking. I told you they call me of the Bloom. I was born there, and I knew nothing of the world outside for the longest time. I thought it was normal to play in passages made of gut tissue, to hide from slaves in the diverticula, to watch visitors staggering in from other worlds. I learned how to read people there, how to understand them. And then one day I left the Bloom, came to Sage's Cliffs, and I discovered the world was a different place than I'd thought. A better place. That's when I learned to fight. That's why I learned to fight. He gestures at himself. This isn't a warrior's body, of course, not in the usual sense. He smiles, and a great pressure swells in your head and vanishes before you can even register alarm. But I'm not usual. No one in the Fifth Eye is. We're psychics, psionics, seers, call us mind-benders or thought-rippers. But we're warriors. We keep the mind of Sage's Cliff safe from threats they don't even imagine. The old man growls. They'd go crazy if they did. Not that they're exactly paragons of sanity at the best of times. What is this place? This is the Fifth Eye. You might think of it as a retirement home or a veterans hospital. But it wasn't always this way. Look around you. There's a reason we're here. Ask your question. Tell me about the history. The psychically sensitive have been hiding here for generations. The endless battle, the Cobalt breach, the rising blood, all of the great psionic conflicts have victors and the defeated, but more importantly, they have the wounded, the veterans, the scars of 1,000 mental battles. Slip away here. We can let our guards down. And so we do. It's a long history. I should write it down sometime, but I'm feeling lazy. What do you mean when you said it was a veterans hospital? He raps on the nearby wall. It's a solid sound, no vibration. We don't know what this place was, though the pipes and machinery make it seem like a kind of pumping station. But what it is to us, and then whispers in sanctuary, a crawling sensation like insects under your scalp. This is what the outside world is. We see an image of the sea beneath you, writhing ribbons of light that flare in colours. Each of those ribbons is a thought, word, deed, and each calls out for attention. His companions nod. Continues speaking. When we're still here, we can dampen that noise. The voice has become voluntary. We can still listen, but it's not insistent. Whatever else this building is, it's shielded, safe for our kind. Tell me about the adversaries. A good question. Better if I show you. He closes his eyes and you feel an insistent nudge in your mind. Your vision goes black, replaced with a nightmare. You see void, oblivion, a place where black stars hang and shriek with formless rage. Violet lightning arcs through the sky and you witness an enormous masses of pustulant orbs raging against each other. Streams of conscious thought rocket from them and they scream of desire, hatred. Other emotions arise with these wisps of mental energy that curl like steam. They brush your consciousness with a touch beslimed with the unknowable fingers of hungers of an alien mind. These luminous wisps quest through invisible cracks in the dimensional wall. Worlds unsuspecting. Lights enfolded in the adversary's decaying orbits. Imprisoned stars, looking out forever. They came through the blue, shining and tenebrous at the same time. They offered gain, riches, promises for the future. I felt their passage and was afraid. I hid my mind from their questing touch. I felt them reach for me and I cowered in my shell. Theobe laid a hand on my shoulder. Those who didn't hide saw the lure, and they were drawn into that unwinnable mental game. Attracted by the light of the adversary's mind, they followed their own dreams and madness. Psychics and normal people alike, the ruin of the city's minds. You were wise enough to see beyond the lure and into the danger. Couldn't stand against them yourself, so you hid. We all did. Not all, growls. Some stood. They played the game and got cracked up like glow globes. I felt them die, and their spirits got sucked into a vortex of endless fear. You did the right thing to harm her. I've told you that before. Fine, he replies, waving the words away. But you've seen what the adversaries are like now. Inhuman. No negotiation. Maybe they're communicating with us and we don't understand them, but I tell you, this is hello. I don't want anything else to do with them. So those of us who survived that initial incursion gathered here. We set aside our differences and fought back, but not without our own losses. What are they? I don't know. What we see isn't the whole picture. We know that. It's an extrusion into our world, just a piece of the creature's psychic material. Maybe it's a conscious unit on its own, maybe it's self-directed, but my deepest fear is that every adversary we've seen is the smallest piece of a singular entity, and that our pushback is drawing its attention so slowly towards us. If you ever meet one, you'll know why that frightens me so. How do you fight it? Are you thinking you might use your labyrinth to trap it? Don't do it. Well, though wait. It might work. It might. Looks at Therebus and Ziobi. We use a spotter, someone trained to recognize their scent. Give them the briefest engagement, enough to whet their appetites, and you'd bring them to the battlefield of our choosing. The adversary will tempt you with something, will tap into the deepest parts of your mind you've forgotten, ignite a desire, will offer bargains, taste of power, and try to draw you to its way of thinking. The key is to keep control of the imagery and the metaphors your minds conjure together. That's where I come in. He leans forward on the table, Theobrus, his gaunt face seeming more drawn. I feed words and stories to our spotter, help him to build an internal story that seemed to mirror what the adversary told, and I'd lay a pathway towards our battlefield. He'd walk down that pathway, and the adversary would be extruding itself into our world right beside him. And then we'd close off all the exits and get to work cutting it to pieces. So, tell a story, resist the adversary's metaphors, build in the details of your hardened metal space, draw it in, then use your familiarity with the place to destroy the bastard. If you're going to try, and again, I can't emphasize enough that I think enough that you should seek our help, but if you do it alone, God, I can't believe this, I'm saying this, if you do it alone, be careful. Okay, tell me about the people. So, is the adversary the thing that's chasing me with the tentacles, who I've forgotten the name of, or is the alien guy across the way? Sure, but keep in mind most of them can hear us. What do you want to gossip about? The others burst out laughing. They've got their stories. Some of them aren't from this world. Some of them aren't even real. There's Therebos, Ziobi, and Leto. Oh, and Feriok. We own the place together. We fought in all manner of wars, battles, and conflicts. We've travelled for some, worn esper helmets for others, or projected ourselves across the world. But the worst was the adversaries. That was the true test for all of it. They forged our friendship tighter than any other experience could. The best part is, we've sacrificed our lives, our friends, and our sanity for a city that'll never know. They keep on with their daily lives and just assume the rash of madness is some effect of them. Gave up the best part of our minds and they don't even care. Doesn't matter to me what the rabble think, but it'd be nice to at least get professional recognition. We've been over this, Therebus. We don't do it for ourselves. We do it because it's the right thing. So I can butt in, or I can say nothing. Why does it matter if they know the truth or not? The important thing is you took action. Oh, red tide. Sure, save the lives of people who flinch when they see me coming. I love seeing mothers snatch their children from my path. Clearing the insects from my bedroll is the next important step in knowing that I took action because the ingrates of Sage's Cliffs won't even sell me a damned clean sheet. If they were dead, at least I could steal their sheets. Who do you think the adversaries would go after once all the citizens were dead, friend? And you think you'd head out into the world, leaving your mind glowing bright behind them? I could shield myself, no problem. I did when they came out, remember? Just like... Yes, I did. But I found help. We hunted those bastards down and wiped most of them out. You, if you're alone here, you get tired of having to hide your true self around them and start cursing at them just so they notice you. Turns and holds up his hands. You see what I get? What I have to put up with? Ask for a modicum of respect, and all I get is mockery. I don't know why we pay any attention to this old gallery. Oh, so much talking. Should have got a drink of water before I started. What did you mean when you said some of the others aren't even real? The smile disappeared. Talk to Ziobi. What? Talk about Therebus. Despite his terrible complexion, gaunt face, bird-like nose, and questionable taste in haberdashery, actually, I'm trying to think of any redeeming qualities. I'm right here, you know. Yes, despite any of these obvious disadvantages, Therebus has become one of the preeminent warriors of language in the entire world. Laugh, but the old saying is undeniably true. The tongue with the word is deadlier than the sword. Unless the sword hand gets to you before you can make something else get in the way. You can plant words in your mind that will activate and weaponize your body against itself. With a word, he can spin illusions inside your skull. He knows the hidden receptors and compartments of the mind, and he can whisper lock you dead. Is that a fair assessment, hey? Friend nods. We are about Ziobi, then. Let's not. Nonsense, Ziobi's our enforcer, a telekinetic. She summons visions for us to distract our foes, projects deadly energy, and harnesses the power of the physical world to anchor us in our enemies while we deliver the killing blow. She also lets us focus our energy through her. She is what you might call our heavy weaponry, because she makes the immaterial world much, much more tangible. while we frolic in the playgrounds of the mind. She's more concerned with earthly matters. How poetic, you old skullark. Truly, you took the words straight from my... Why, you dirty thief! You're practically shouting, Ziobi. How could I help but listen? Tell me about Feria. Ziobi, the smile slips from her face, but she says nothing. He doesn't look towards the bar, but his mood turns somber. A true empath. I'll spot her back when he could do the work. A brave man, aware of the risks he took, physically sensitive, able to catch a lure of the adversaries and willing to run with it. If it hadn't been for him, we'd have never had the success he did. The last one we fought him, took him. So he stepped in. It took some of the things that make him special. Can't spot for us anymore. Powers aren't what they were. He's a shadow. But the old skiss sucker has our thanks anyway. The glass towards the bartender and drops it on the table as Zoe punches his arm. Oh, that's bad luck, you know. Don't you speak an ill word about him, Therebos. Not after what he did. Or how I feel about Ziobi. He swishes the liquid left in his glass. His head and voice lowered. Before he lost his power, one of the best of our team. The best I've ever known. But don't tell him I said so. Punches him again. Alright, tell me about Leto. She's our seer, our prescient. She knew where the adversaries were going to be. She knew when they would be there, so we could set ourselves up in time. But they grew wise to her. Maybe they threw themselves through probability space, played the game of maybe with her, and thought they were better than she was. So loud, it wasn't her fault. Never said it was. Really gets tension. The adversaries got the better of all of us. We were lucky they were only a tear from his eye. We were lucky we only took the loss that we did. How did you come to this place? It called to us. It was a beacon. It was warm and welcoming. The first time I set foot inside these doors, and the noise from the outside world was pleasant. It didn't disappear. I can focus and hear as I wish, but I could let my guard down, relax. Wager the same is true of the others. Let me ask about something else. Oh, God. I'd like to know more about the fifth eye. Nope. We've already done that. I may have a lead on the identity of the adversary. Tell me about your suspicion. Okay. The man in the yellow shirt changed his shape. That poor lost soul is not the adversary. He's been trapped in the form of an abyss, but himself. Do not fear him, pity. Okay. Strange, ghostly woman? Be the soul keeper? His tale of personal tragedy and sorrow, though perhaps the end result is not the worst for the people under his case to titular care. Not the adversary. Could be Clary. I understand her devotion to destruction might make her seem a monster, but like the rest of us, she's been... The guy, Sir Arathor? No, he's a wanderer? A collector of knowledge? Just appears to be entirely beneficent. Strange one. The ghostly, woman. Unpredictable, possibly dangerous, she's not the adversary. We've tried to remove her before, and yet she always returns. Rather than risk any damage, we just stay out of her way. What about the being called O? I've sensed O's presence and reached out to it in my mind. It's not adversary as well. I don't know how to describe it, but rest easy. Because O probably won't destroy you. Probably. Okay. Alright. Farewell for now. Can I talk to Ziobi separately? Oh my. I mean, I've gotta do it, right? This woman's face seems timeless, neither young nor old, unblemished, but somehow not perfect. Her dark and wavy hair floats like a cloud around her shoulders. When she speaks, her voice is musical, almost artificial. I am Ziobi, and you are... When her table mates start smiling, she pulls them away. I'm not actually a mind reader like these two. Just a joker. You're not gonna guess who I am? I don't know who you are, but I can tell where you're from. tell me, are you from the area? Small hamlet, slightly isolated, but still within the broader Sage's protectorate, somewhere near Arvin Wood. Perhaps I don't know. Say I was a star. What? How is it that you know the language? You must be particularly observant. Your voice, inflections, and mannerisms, they speak of someone whose upbringing was based on an older version of Sage's Cliff's dialect. That suggests an isolated Aldero enclave of some sort. Okay. I am Ziobi. I hail from the western reaches of the Clock of Kala, near Mathenius. I've had the opportunity to serve with my fellows here in a number of disturbances. Though if you wish to hear more about those conflicts, you must speak with Dharma. I am their support, their backup, if needed be, their physical offense. It's the fifth eye. It's where the psychics and psionics of Sage's Cliffs have been coming for generations to protect ourselves from the noise of the city. Life is easier when you are among friendly people, those of your own kind. Though not everyone here is technically one of us, some of the people you see here are manifestations of our minds. Some of them are even called here by our minds. Some have come from other dimensions, even. I have a challenge for you. One of the 5 of us who owns this bar is a projection. Talk to the other veterans of the Sijic War and see if you can figure out which of us is the projection. You can ask each of us only once to make your questioning count. Oh. Okay. What can you tell me about the adversary? I don't know where they came from, or what they want, or any of that. I only know that they destroy everything they touch, and I will destroy them. My friends put their extrusions into the real world, and then I get to sever them from their source. I love doing that. No? Nope, sorry, I'm a heavy hitter. Psychic projection? Me? No, indeed. In fact, I'm projecting him now. It's my power that makes the projection possible. If I were you, I'd focus on physicality. Interesting. Alright, let's talk to Therabus. Oh, I'm stuck! Uh-oh. Oh my god. Oh dear. Okay, fine. Here we go. Farthing. Farthing, people. The old man is old and strong, his face lined with years of brutal experience. His face is aquiline, his nose sharp, he wears a broad-brimmed hat, and his voice is low and raspy. I am Therabus, he says. Tell me your story, and make it a good one. I was born from a falling star in the sky, and I'm trying to repair a chamber that will stop a nightmare. He watches you intently as you speak, and when she nods sharply, telling the truth. A lot of people embellish, or they lie outright, try to pretend they're more than they are, so people remember them as giants. More often than not, they just end up looking ridiculous. Given me a rare treat. Thanks. What do you want? Can't help you with your chamber. Maybe there's something else. Ah, he pats me on the shoulder. So he has physicality, so he's not projection. I mean, I'm assuming it's the bartender who doesn't touch anything with his hand. Ziobi says one of your veterans. A psychic projection. That's an interesting way to word it, Z. Couldn't you just say we're all psychic projections in one way or another? Put it this way. Are you always how I picture you? Does your behavior change based on my thoughts? I mean... Okay, so I can say yes, depending on the image anyway. I might change my behavior to improve your opinion. No, your thoughts are your own, as is your opinion. They have nothing to do with me. I haven't actually thought about it. Actually, I picked number 1. So you're influenced by my thoughts, but my thoughts are the whole of you? If they are, then you're my imagination, and the converse. You'd say we're one consciousness subjectively experiencing itself, and that means we're all each other's and our own psychic projections? But we're also autonomous, eh? At least to some degree. You exist when I'm not paying attention to you. Pretty sure I have no need to imagine someone like you. We might as well say that we're all interconnected at a fundamental level, that our thoughts and actions have effects on each other. It might not be reality. That's the truth. But we each have a perception of a truth. The guiding star that we use to live our lives is not reality for everyone, but it's reality for us. It's our story. Oh no, Ziobi. The Robus is getting started again. Hush you, I'm lecturing. Even if we don't understand reality, we understand stories, so maybe our best gauge is for how each other is stories. We know the words we tell the story. What I'm really telling you is, I'm not Ziobi's projection. Maybe learn some of our tales and get the truth. A truth, anyway. Tell me about the adversaries. I don't want to talk to them. It's important to understand that they're not unbeatable, that they're not immortal. They're tough, hells yes, but they can be stopped. That said, what are they? You've heard of spirits, beings of pure thought. That's what they are. Except they're more like living hate, like every nightmare of fear you can't escape, a vortex of despair, and that's why we fight. They are poison. I'm the brains of this operation. Without me, they'd lose the thread of their thoughts and spend their time wandering, just trying to get away from you, nagging. Ah, it's the nagging that sharpens my word, Dharma. Though I admit my words are probably getting duller every second I spend talking to you. Let's call me a warrior of language. Words my weapons, my treasures. They might be petty sounds to you, but to me they're the tools that pry open your imagination and leave you vulnerable to my friends here. I build pictures, set the scene, and create mazes in your mind. Labyrinths. I'm also the last person in the world to know the lost words of choir. Oh! He closes his eyes tightly, and when he opens them again, you see words of light dancing in his head. They're gone again with the next one. They're a weaponized meme. Of course they are. A thought that sticks in your head, a tune you can't get rid of, saying that echoes in your mind until it drives you mad and melts your brain. You don't have to talk about this, Theoboros. Ziobi turns to you. It's eating away at him. He has it compartmentalized, but he says he can feel it burning away at his mind. I feel the power in you. Can you help him? What can you tell me about the words? His face grows somber, if that's possible. Those words were the ruin of an ancient civilization. I had this story from a dying Nevergin before I wrestled the last word from his mind. It goes like this. Scholarks of an age had found deep truths about the world, but they stumbled across these words. They wrote the knowledge down and sealed the words away with the strongest warnings they could find. And then they killed themselves so that they wouldn't affect their kind. The problem was they didn't count on their writing sticking through the ages. Some skist-brained fool ignored the warnings, the bindings, read the words, spilled them out into civilization that had grown up in the spot over the millennia. The 8 rulers of the Korra. 8 words, and a continent-spanning empire fell. Its people bleeding from their eyes with hatred in their hearts. Survivors tried the scholar who released the worlds, birds, and buried him in stone. The words were lost again. And Nevergin, Zero, found the imprisoned scholar. It tried to wipe away the knowledge he'd spoken and removed him from the world. Had the Nevergin stuck there, it would have seen the dust itself rewriting the words of Kra on the floor in the wind. It was too late. The words had infested his mind. I found the words. I burned them from the world, trapped them in the maze in my mind, and they're near the exit. Oh no, again? What are you going to do about the weaponized meme that's burning in your head? Well, I could kill myself. Honestly, I don't think anyone else could carry it, and the alternatives are too horrific to bear. He tilts his glass towards. I love my colleagues here. But can they handle the words of Kra? I don't think so. Right now, I've got them locked into a mental construct that no one has even the slightest idea of how to build. Oh! I have a space in my mind. I can contain them there. Can I? Really? And how is it that you're a better custodian for the words of Korra than I am? I'm more than strong. Use your psychic ability to read me! Do it! Do it! Oh, we can only go up to 65. Oh, shoot, man! Do it! No! I got unlucky. Focus on your mind. You feel something like the skittering spiders across it. You plunge inside, and suddenly you sense his presence in the labyrinth, and you can feel his mind recoil. No. No, I don't think so. It's not just your mind in there. Many minds share that space, and honestly, I don't trust that you'll guard the word. I don't have a solution right now, but I have more questions. What do you want? I'll try again. Get the bourgeois. Ask Dharma. He just drinks. Okay. Tell me about others about the stories. I can, but won't. Talk to them yourself. They all have a piece of wisdom that they carry in themselves, and I won't dishonor them by telling the stories for them. I can eulogize them, but every story would start like, he is a warrior, selfless and self-absorbed, knowing them about themselves so they can help the world. But they're all more than that. See if you can't get them from a different perspective than me. Okay. Farewell. Alright, let's talk about... Let's just ask Dharma if he's a sight, if he's a projection. Are you? Me? The real as they come. He slaps his belly. Could a projection do that? Come to think of it, Ziobi could probably make one do that. And make it sound right too. It's good. But how would you test it? I'm going to touch him. He doesn't move and your finger sinks to his flesh. Should I be satisfied? Ziobi said I should focus on physicality. Here's a hint. He reaches out and claps you on the shoulders, his fingers holding tight. Projections play on your expectations, but they're pierced. Good luck with it. The opera said I should pay attention to the story. He's right. Do I even have any interesting stories about growth, journey, change? I'm not sure if I have any good stories. I'm the same as I've always been. Okay. Well then, go talk to Leto and see if she's a protection. Are you a projection? Then say what reality is. I see strands of possibility tying the future and past together. Probabilities grow and decrease. It's a small probability in reality. In one universe it will be. In another, it has vanished into the web of might have been. An opportunity for nostalgia or gratitude for you. I tell you that reality is more than our perception of time. It exists beyond us. What is in the past extends into the future. Touch the threads of the past, and you see that their intended shape. Know what it is you seek, and you will be able to discern your reality. What are you even saying, Leto? Smiled at her lip. One who would question reality must know that reality is how reality should behave. I am not this projection you seek. The being named O said you were the mother of vision. No, said you were. It's here to give you a vision. It says you will be the mother of empires. It stares at you, her mouth open. Her eyes flicker across the bar, landing on no one in particular. I have not received the vision, and a mother? Me? She shakes her head. I'm barren. I will give no life. Her hands are shaking. She whispers. I see only stain when I look at myself. Nothing more. A miasma occludes my vision of myself. How about you, projection man? Tahama says you're blind. What does that mean? Ha, he laughs. I used to be the spotter for this gang. It means I could sense the presence of the adversaries and build an attractive playground for them, and draw them after me. The last one I face, though. His face falls and he draws into himself. It burned me out. It put out my eye. Burned me out. It put out my eye. And then he's back to normal, smiling as if nothing happened. Ziobi challenged me to find the person with projection. Are you the one? He laughs. Now, would I come right out and tell you? If Ziobi's playing a game, why should I spoil her fun? Come on, puzzle it out. But let me offer you a clue. Know your subjects. I guess that's the kind of thing an empath might say. Dahama hinted that I should touch you. Fine, touch away. His flesh is hard and unyielding as synthesteel. Clean living. The herbalist said I should know about people's stories. And what stories do you want to question? I was the group spotter, an empath, until the adversary burned out that skill. Basically all you need to know. Leto said you were an empath. Did she now? So return frowns and shrugs. What if I developed telekinesis after the adversary stole my empathic ability? Oh, that's true. That's true, I missed that bit. Ziobi said I should focus on physicality. Did she? How's this then? He concentrates momentarily, and bottles and glasses circulate into a convoluted pattern around his head. Settle back into place. How's that for physicality? Alright. Well, look. Where is she? Ziobi. Let's just say the Psychic projection is Ziobi. Very. I won't even ask how you figured that out. You guessed. It was a lucky guess, but your instincts were right. Then her face falls. I began manifesting him after he was killed. He was our spotter, the man who saw the adversaries that lured them to the battleground, but the last adversary who fought was ready for us. Caught hold of the lure he offered and followed his line all the way back to reality. Burned him from the inside. He lured it to us. With his dying will, nailed it into place. The sacrifice any of us would have made Ziobi, no matter who was in that position. Trying to convince himself. The adversary didn't pay any attention to us, even as we poured our heaviest attacks into it. It was too absorbed in destroying Feriok, tearing apart instead of defending itself, as if its first priority was defending us instead of preserving itself. Beat it though. And so long as I'm breathing, I'll keep his memory. He'll serve his drinks and make his bad jokes, and everyone will feel welcome. The least I can do is now. Well, that's pretty cool. This was a good place to go. Got 2 extra intelligence, which is always nice. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do subscribe here on YouTube if you have not. That would be wonderful. And I will talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.